Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for joining me. 10 o'clock Thursday, or just after 10 o'clock. It's been a long week again. Voting. Not as many votes this week because last week we did 10 separate votes for the Brit horror section. And this week I kind of kept it down to 5. And it worked quite well. I worked off your suggestions. You guys submitted all the different kills and I put them to vote. I picked 10 myself, which I thought were my favorites out of the, I think there were around about 40 to 50 that you guys chose, because I had polls running on, or feedback running on the community section, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And so the response was quite overwhelming. Just kind of sorting them all out into different categories took me a few hours on Sunday morning, but it was fun. I enjoyed doing it. I really enjoyed seeing what your opinions were on some of these memorable moments from the Friday the 13th franchise. Obviously, Friday the 13th tomorrow. We're a day early, but that's not a bad thing because obviously it gives other people opportunity to watch it tomorrow when it's Friday the 13th, and all those other great streams that were going on. I've just been watching the Forgotten Horror channel. They had Davey Dark, they had Nigel was on there, and Eastwood for Life as well, Carlos. And it was a really good stream. They were talking about their first memories of Friday the 13th. I don't know if Brandon can chuck the link in the chat there. It's the Forgotten Horror channel, and it's a stream that went live about an hour and a half ago or something like that. Really good stream. If you guys are real Friday the 13th fans, these guys were around when it first came out. Talk about all the memories from the original film coming out and how they first saw it and where they first saw it. So shout out to Dave, who's doing a great job on the Forgotten Horror channel at the moment. He's doing some really cool content. So thanks for that. I really enjoyed it this evening. I guess we should talk a little bit about, actually, let's say hello to a few people in the chat first. Let's have a look in the chat. Who have we got here? Andy's here. Good to see you, Andy. Connell McQuillan. Chester's here, of course. OU Film Buff. Reese is here. Hey, Reese, how you doing? Hope you enjoyed Send Help. I was okay with it. I thought it was good. I wanted it to go a bit more full-on Sam Raimi in some parts, but it was still enjoyable. I still had a good time with it. Who else is here? Matt Pattinson's here. Hey Matt, how you doing? Echoes of the Unknown's here. Stephen Green, good to see you, Stephen. Wraith's here. Bloody Boston's here. Don Mac 3000. Johnny's here. Good to see you, Johnny. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and Steph are doing well. Who else have we got? Daz is here. Good to see you, Daz. Brandon. What else have we got? There we go. The Forgotten Horror channel. The link is in the chat there. Check out the Friday the 13th episode. Obviously after this one, but it's a good one for you to watch tomorrow. Kingslayer's here. Marisol's here. Hey Marisol, how you doing? Good to see you. Gabriel 1983. Gabriero, is it? Sorry if I butchered your name there. Logan's here. Colin's here. Good to see you, Colin. I have tomorrow off. Time for a Friday the 13th marathon tomorrow. I'll probably do the first 6 or 7. Wow. Actually, I watched, just to get me in the right frame of mind for this, I watched Crystal Lake Memories last weekend. And that was a good, 6.5 hours or something like that. But it was fun. I hadn't seen it for a few years. It really... I'd forgotten a lot of it, so it was kind of a good refresher. There's some really cool anecdotes on there. They sound like they had a really tough time on Friday the 13th Part 5 with that director. What was interesting about it, though, was... I don't know if any of you guys have picked up on this, though. Frank Mancuso is being interviewed and he goes, well, I didn't spend any time on the set, so I wasn't aware of what was going on, you know, the way he was talking to people. And then it cuts to the bit about about the Deborah Voorhees scene. And the editor said, yeah, while it was going on, you know, there were about 50 people around watching it, and I just looked at Frank Mancuso and said, you know, we need to get rid of some of these people. Well, hang on a minute. Frank Mancuso said he wasn't on the set, but he made sure he was there that day. Jeez, come on, man. Come on. Shamrock's here. Good to see you, Shamrock. Haven't seen you for ages. I've been watching some of your stuff with the other dude, actually. A few weeks ago, I watched a couple of episodes. Enjoyed it. Right. Let's just have a look at let's have a look at the automatic 10 first. So the 10 that I picked to go through automatically to the tier. And they are... We have Judy and the sleeping bag kill from New Blood. We have Adrienne, which was the liquid nitro face smash from Jason X. Mark and the machete in the face from part 3. Axel with the throat slit head twist from part 4. Sheriff Garris from part 6 getting his back snapped. Rick Bombay from part 3 getting his eyeball popped out. Jimmy Crispin Glover from part 4 with the corkscrew scene. Jack from part 1, Kevin Bacon getting the spear through his back. Julius from Jason Takes Manhattan, which is part 8, and the head being punched off. And then we have Vera and this spear gun scene from part 3. So those were the 10 out of the list of 30 or 40 or so that you picked that I pushed through automatically to the tier ranking. Following that, we then had 5 votes, and let's have a look at how those went. So over here we can see Group A. You guys voted Melissa and Jason Voorhees to go through to the final 10. The final 20. After that, in Group B, we had Jeff and Sandra from part 2, and Deborah, the tent kill. That's in the unrated version of Jason Goes to Hell. So many of you suggested that one. Paul getting the harpoon to his nads from the final chapter was voted off, and also Annie's throat slit in part 1, which I really like that one. I think that's a great Savini effect, was also voted off in that group. And then Group C, we had Pamela and her head being removed from the original Friday the 13th, and Alice getting the ice pick in the side of her head from part 2. You guys voted off Harold with the cleaver to his chest, and Nurse Robbie with the scalpel from the final chapter. And then we had Group D, which had the paintballers, which with the triple head decapitation. God, YouTube's going to ding me for some of this language that I'm coming out with now. Trey and the bedfold from Freddy vs. Jason won this group. Nolan, the arrow and the boat scene. Nolan and Chelsea, I really like that scene. I think I'm surprised it didn't go through, because it's kind of quite a prolonged sequence of him getting shot in the eye, her getting run over by the boat, and then that whole scene with her underneath the jetty where the machete goes down into the top of her head and lifts her up. I think it's a really cool sequence, but only 8% of you voted on that, so it had to go. And then the second one out of this group to go through was Samantha and the dinghy kill from the final chapter, another great Savini effect. And then finally, on Tuesday, we had Group E, which saw Amanda in the sleeping bag in the remake, getting burned alive over the campfire. Nikki's RV mirror smashing scene in Jason Lives, that went out. So did Deputy Winslow. Nobody likes the hammer in the back of the head, apparently, only 2% of you. And winning the group with 52% was Andy and his handstand from part 3. So those 10 went through to join the group in the final tier, and I'll reveal that now. There we go. Now, I had some issues again with YouTube, who hate me putting pictures of gore up. And so during the week with the polls, I'd preset them to launch during the week. I did them all on Sunday, and they were all pre-programmed to go out during the week at various intervals. And yeah, a few of them got taken down. I got dinged. The Jason head machete shot I'd put on there and all that kind of stuff, and they were like, no, YouTube's not happy with that. So I've played it safe, because I don't want to get the stream shut down tonight. I've played it safe, and what I've done is I've given a description of what happens to the character on these cards here, and a picture of the character as well. But what we'll do is we'll talk about them as well, as we go through. So let's kick off the first one. And the first one we have here is Judy Williams. It was a real kind of learning curve as well, finding out people's surnames in this. We have some really bizarre surnames in this. Judy Williams from part 7. She's the one who gets the sleeping. She's in the sleeping bag and it gets smashed into the tree. So we'll kick off that vote now. I'm also just going to quickly. The vote is now live, and you've got 85 seconds left to vote. I'm just going to get Deshaun's super chat. Thank you very much, sir. It sends in 199, says, Julius was a real one to try to throw hands. It's a great scene. It's a great scene. I think people like that because it's just funny more than anything. It's not particularly a scary scene, and the effect's not all that great, but we'll talk about it in a bit. We'll get to that scene. Okay, so Judy Williams, part 7. The actor was Elizabeth Caton. The effects were John Carl Beekler's effects on this. And it's a bit of a crowd-pleasing classic kill is this. Jason just picks her up and rams her swings her into the tree and, gives her a few bashings and she drops to the floor. I think there was more of a kind of, if I remember rightly from watching some of the documentaries, there was more of a, he did it a few times in the uncut version. Well, I think we just get it once or twice in the final version. I haven't watched part 7 for a little while, but actually I should just take the time as well to talk about the tiers here. You've 20 seconds left, folks. The top tier is called Campfire Carnage. I only did 3 tiers this week. Mother Approves is the second tier if you're a bit middling about these things, and Lost in the Woods is the third tier if you don't agree that it's a particularly good kill. 1 second left, and the time is up. And you voted it in the second tier there. 32 of you voted on this. 8 of you voted it in Campfire Carnage. 15 of you voted it in Mother Approves. And nobody voted it in last place. So let's, it's a good scene. It's just kind of raw impact, isn't it? It's one of the most popular kills across the franchise. It's different. It's something that we'd never seen before in the franchise. So it was kind of a nice surprise. Andy saying, was Savini really in Vietnam? I didn't know that. Was he really? He never fails to let you down on that anecdote, does he? John Jones says, I'm not sure on this, but I think Savini was in Vietnam. Oh, God, everybody's talking about Savini in Vietnam. Iconic kill, although I'd argue Jason X did it better, although it's more tongue-in-cheek. Yes. Yeah, I know what you mean. The bit when they go into that virtual camp or whatever at the end. Was originally going to be multiple hits against the tree and blood spewing out the bag. Yes, I've seen some of the B-roll footage of it, and it was a little bit more messy than what we saw in the final version. But then the whole film was, because the MPAA just tore this film to shreds, and as we know, a lot of the sequences from Part 7 are just gone for good. They're just missing. Don Mack says the uncut version of the Part 7 sleeping bag scene is fantastic. R.I.P. the Friday the 13th gang gone too soon, says Bloody Boston. First Blood was based on Savini's Vietnam years, says Kingslayer. And Elizabeth Caton was thrown out of the window, not the sleeping bag girl. Is that right? Is that right? Have I got the wrong name? Okay. Maybe it's another... Okay. All right. Well, maybe I've got the actress wrong on that one. I'll double check that. Thank you for raising that, though. It was definitely a good kill, says Chester, but I agree it being a surprise. It's more funny than anything, says Wraith. And Brandon says, I saw a Star Wars burlesque show years ago at my friend's bachelor party. It was great. I saw a Star Wars show in Spain once. Yeah. Completely different to what I was expecting. Echoes of the Unknown says Kane Hodder got peed off as the bag was really heavy and they cut it anyway to just one hit, which he admitted was better. Yeah, I think it's more brutal that he finishes it in one swing rather than having to go at it a few times. Okay, let's kick off the next one. Let me just press start on the next vote. Julius from Part 8. I'm going to turn the music down. Julius from Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. I have a long relationship with Jason Takes Manhattan. Vincent Craig Dupree, I believe, is the actor in this. His head is punched off when he tries to take on Jason in a little tete-a-tete at boxing. It's a fairly absurd but iconic kill, I guess. It wouldn't be one that I always laugh at it. I always think it's one of the more entertaining kills in Jason Takes Manhattan, but that's not really difficult, is it? The boxing build-up is fun, I guess, but Jason kind of wears him out just watching him swing. I guess it's just a ridiculous kill, isn't it? But it is pretty unforgettable. You know, and the bit where the head comes off and lands in the dumpster and then the lid closes is fun as well, I guess. But yeah, it's an okay moment. I was surprised so many of you voted this and voted it through to the final because, yeah, I didn't realize Jason Takes Manhattan had that many fans. But anyway, let's have a look where we are. But it was in the bottom section. It's moved up to Mother Approves. 5 seconds left to vote. And the vote is up. The vote is up. So 3 of you voted it in Campfire Carnage at the top. 12 of you voted it in Mother Approves. And 8 of you voted it in Lost in the Woods in the bottom section. So not many of you were big fans of this, but then it confuses me as to why it went through. I thought everything would be in the, Anyway. Let's have a look what you guys thought of Julius's kill here. Kingslayer says, Jason Takes Manhattan is your favorite movie. We all know it. Yeah. Why is there no blood from Julius's hands on Jason's mask? Good point. Frickin' love this kill, says Reese. Only because the boxing goes on so long. Yeah, he does. He completely wears him out, doesn't he? Lost in the Woods, for me, it looks so fake and just dumb. It's kind of entertaining, though, I guess. Probably the best kill in such a shit sequel. Killer Clowns did the boxing better, true. Gibboni says part 8 kicks the 2 lamest MCs. Ava should have been final girl. He'll never be the head of a major corporation. Ivan Drago did the boxing kill better, says Daz. And the head punch kill, I always find it hilarious, says Chester. Yeah, it's good fun. I agree, Darren. Everything about Manhattan is shite. Yes, it's not a great. I mean, you know what? I struggle to watch this film. I struggle to watch it. Some of the effects work in it, particularly with the boat. I mean, how can you make a boat look crap on the water? It just looks terrible, doesn't it? It looks like an episode, if any of you remember on TV, a kids program called Tugs. It looks like an episode of Tugs. Darren's still paying that VHS off. I can't believe I actually tried to take it back as well because it was shit. I didn't, mate. No, you've bought it now, mate. You've bought it. You can't have your money back. I think you'd probably find I can, but he wouldn't have it. Colin says, best £90 you've ever spent, Darren. Probably just as good as the money you spent in Spain. That was free, Colin. That was free. I'm a defender of this movie, says Echoes of the Unknown. A hill I'd probably eventually die on. And Chris is here. Chris, good to see you, mate. The actor still owns the head prop. Really? Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of him holding it, actually. It's a shit dummy head as well. It looks terrible. It's like someone's made it out of paper mache or something. Good to see you in here, Chris, actually. I haven't seen you in here for a while now. I would rather they set the whole film on the boat and actually use the location to full effect than half-ass to get to New York. Yeah. Tugs, what kind of a problem is this? What kind of a program is this? It was just like like Thomas the Tank Engine. You must know Thomas the Tank Engine, Brandon. It was the same thing, but with little boats. And that's what it just looked as bad as that. Okay, let's kick off the next vote. And we are now voting for Jack Burrell. The whole thing with Kevin Bacon's character in Friday the 13th is there's 2 names. Now, why is he called? I've not been able to find this out. So he's either known as Jack Burrell or Jack Morand, and it depends what website you go to. Some call him Jack Burrell, some call him Jack Morand. I ended up going with Jack Burrell. But anyway, that's what he's called. An incredibly iconic kill in the franchise. One of Savini's amazing effects. You know, he used a similar effect in The Burning with the fake body and the neck coming here and then the spear going through. He did it in reverse in The Burning with the shears going down. It's a great moment as well. Although, you know, you have to question how Pamela got that spear under the bed. Or that arrow or whatever it is that she uses. I guess there must be a lot of room under that bed to be able to push that through. Yeah, so Friday the 13th, 1980. Kevin Bacon, obviously. Great effects from Tom Savini. Yeah, what else is there to say on this? It's one of the defining kills of the franchise, I think. Terrific. And the fact that they were blowing the blood through a pipe and... You know, there's an uncut version that we have in the UK that shows slightly more blood, I think. Originally, it was kind of trimmed back a little bit. But vote is up. The vote is up, and it's top tier, folks. Let me just pause that and go back. Jack Burrell is in first place at the moment. Okay, let's find out in the chat. So, actually, let's go through the results first. 20 of you voted it in Campfire Carnage, 2 in Mother Approves, 2 in Lost in the Woods. 2 of you thought this isn't a very good kill. Okay, interesting. I don't mind a bit of warped humor in a kill, but this one jumps the shark. Oh, you want about the Julius kill? Okay. Wraith says, I bet that video shop guy was laughing like Mr. Burns as Darren left the shop. Oh, he was. He was rubbing his hands big time. If Jason Takes Manhattan had lived up to that title, it would have been great. And the trailer. The trailer was great as well with the old Frank Sinatra music on it and everything. Older people overhype this kill. What, the Kevin Bacon one? Kevin Bacon gets weirded out signing photos of his bloody self in this. Yeah, somebody on the chat, this stream that I was watching earlier on Davey Dark's stream, they were talking about that. They said, you know, if he went to a convention, he'd make an absolute killing. You know, so many people would want to get all their shit signed by him for Friday the 13th. OU film, and if you, and as I think it was Davey or Nigel says on that stream, if it hadn't have been for Friday the 13th, he probably maybe had not got to where he got to in his career. So he needs to kind of embrace it more, I guess. OU Filmbus says a green down a standard hunting arrow under a bed with the enough force to do that damage just doesn't make sense. It does it. Like, how do you get it under and up? And yeah. Okay, Andrew says, solid second tier for me. However, a later scene beats it for me. Okay, cool. We'll see if that comes up. How long was she waiting under that bed for? I hope she didn't get dribbled on. No wonder she was angry. Yeah, all that bouncing around on top of her while she's lying there. I still have a framed life-size Jason Manhattan bus stop poster. Okay, that's pretty cool. I know, that's what I thought. Older people, man. Bacon's death was quite unsettling to see on first watch all those years back. Yeah, because I mean, like with a lot of these kills, particularly with the throat cut as well, and also in part 4 when I think it's part 4 when the girl gets stabbed through the back of her neck or she's eating a banana. Nowadays with Blu-ray and 4K and all that kind of thing, you can see where the prosthetic was applied and everything. And that you know, you can kind of see it on the Kevin Bacon kill. You can see it. But that's quite a lot of the charm as well. I know that. But back then with the VHSs and, you know, a lot of us were watching 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation VHSs with these films. You just couldn't see it. You couldn't see it at all. You couldn't see that there was a latex cover there and people were pumping. It wasn't easy to spot. Your tracking was out, the picture was grainy, you know, the ratio was cropped. You can spot it now, and it's a shame, but it does, like I say, add to the charm. Okay, let's kick off this next vote. Jack Burrell's in the top. No one's been able to answer my Burrell Morand question. That's interesting. Okay, here we go. Jimmy Mortimer, the dead fuck from Final Chapter. Corkscrew to the hand, cleaver to the face. Really darkly comic and brutal at the same time, I think. It's a great kill. I mean, like, you know, he has to do something. He has to have a great exit after that dance sequence, doesn't he? He goes from kind of this, I guess, this sort of lovable, kind of goofy guy to this brutal face split in seconds. I was gutted when this guy died. He's kind of like, I know he's a bit of a drip in the film, but he was likable. He was a likable character, and he's one of the few really likable characters across the franchise. You know, the amount of characters that there are in the Friday the 13th franchise, in terms of really likable characters, you could probably would be enough to fill one movie. I think that's it. And I think that Crispin Glover's character in this film was great, and that it's a mean kill, but audiences absolutely love it. And it wouldn't surprise me if this wins. It's in first place, I can see at the moment. You've got 5 seconds left to vote. And the vote is up. Jimmy Mortimer is in first place. 21 of you voting him in first place. 8 of you voting him in the middle tier. Mother approves. And nobody voted him in the bottom tier there. I'm just going to put the link in the chat again, folks, so you guys can... I know it's pinned, but I just like to make sure everybody can see it from time to time. Okay, let's have a look at the chat and see where you guys are with Jimmy Mortimer. We're questioning the logic when the last kill was Jason punching a head off. I know, but you know, this is the thing when you talk about these things infinitum for 40 odd years, you do start to figure out how they do things, you know. Echoes of the Unknown says, fun fact, Kevin Bacon has been called Jack in at least 7 movies. Okay, interesting. Dino Rabbit says he's probably 15 and his favorite Friday film is Freddy versus Jason. I'll leave Deshaun alone. He's a good supporter. And Brandon says Savini learned how to do that in Nam. He's registered Lethal Weapon. Deshaun says 27, and yes, I think the first Friday the 13th was 2 packs of ass. I'm kind of like, I think I've said this to you. It's middling for me is the first one, folks. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do enjoy watching Savini's work in this film, but as a narrative, you know, the film itself doesn't quite hold together. It thinks it's one thing when it's something completely different. It sends you down the wrong path, and doesn't have the narrative to back that up. But that's, you know, it's fine. I still like the film a lot. Still like it enough to buy this box set, the 4K, umpteen versions of it up there. You know, I still enjoy it. I really do, and I'm looking forward to the TV show coming out soon. Just remember, kids, older people are you with just slightly more experience. Exactly. This is why I'll stick to blue for most of these horror films. Yeah, I mean, there's only I think 4 of the Friday the 13th movies I think have come out in 4K so far. Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell. Oh, the remake from 2009, Part 1 and Part 2. So 5 I've got up there. Those are the only ones that have been released so far. I'm sure we'll get all of them in a box set pretty soon. The Jack kill was bottom tier for me. I like the more unique ones. Duke Fleet says, I prefer watching these movies on DVD rather than Blu-ray. Wasn't Kevin Bacon in the running to play Freddy Krueger in the remake? I think that's just something Robert Englund said at one time. He suggested years ago, he said, I think Kevin Bacon would be a good replacement. I don't think it ever went anywhere. Love the way Jason later nails the dead fuck up on the doorway afterwards as well. Yes. And then just gets his arms torn down. Yeah, it's a great moment. He deserved all he got after that bloody dance. And Brandon says, I think Bob Gale should buy the rights and remake Part 4 with the guy who played George McFly in Back to the Future 2. Good idea. Good idea. He died knowing he wasn't a dead fuck. True. Absolutely true. And Wraith says, Crispin should have used his sweet dance moves to avoid Jason attacking him. OU Film Buff says, Part 4 had some really brutal kills. Did the MPAA censor any of it? Well, yes, I think they did. And also in the UK, we got additional trims as well, which was a pain. Like in part 4, we had to wait a long time to see Jason slide down that machete. That was cut completely. And I think I saw it on a documentary about Tom Savini way before I actually saw it uncut in the UK. So yeah, it fell foul to the BBFC. Rick says the corkscrew bit is one of the most memorable kills in any slasher film, as far as I'm concerned. Nicholas Skeel says, hit the thumbs up. Yeah, that would be great, guys. If you could hit the thumbs up button, that'd be really really great. These live shows have been doing really well over the last few weeks, and the more they're liked and hyped after the fact, all that kind of stuff, commented on, sharing your comments on there, the more it gets pushed out across YouTube. And thanks to all of you as well who watched my documentaries video that I did Tuesday, was it? I think it was. I recorded it at the weekend, but I didn't get it out till Tuesday. Thanks for that, because that's doing quite well as well. Also, tomorrow, it's Saturday, it's Valentine's Day. I've got a video coming out, hopefully tomorrow, about 45 years of Valentine's Day horror. So that'll be coming out. I'm hoping to get it out tomorrow night. I've just spent the last 2 days watching 4 Valentine's Day horror movies. So I'm just about to put my thoughts together on that. So watch out for that tomorrow night. Mother approves. Crispin Glover often made me feel he deserved this. He's more than a bit weird, and that's coming from a certified weirdo. Myers fan says the final chapter is one of the strongest entries in the franchise and has cracking kills and effects overall. Also, it gave me a lifetime of that twins dream. Those twins were British. I didn't realize until I watched Crystal Lake Memories, and they're interviewed on there. And I mean, bearing in mind that documentary is now like 13, 14 years old. They looked great on the documentary, but they were British. I never knew. Hey Ted, where's the hell's corkscrew? Colin says one of the best kills ever. Double whammy with the corkscrew through the hand, then followed by the cleaver in the boat race. Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna have to remember when Saving tried to kill Sean Clark with a flame. Savini tried to kill Sean Clark with a flamethrower. Yes, that was funny. They were in Tom Savini's workshop, and he got a flamethrower out and pointed it at Chris Nelson and Sean Clark, and almost torched the two of them alive. Like both of them had to turn away and run away from the flames. Well, Savini's what, 80 now or something like that? He's operated this flamethrower and pissing himself laughing whilst almost cremating two of his friends. Okay, I'm going to have to skip some of these. It's great that so many of you are talking in the chat here. I'm going to have to skip some of these messages just to crack on with the vote. But here we go. And the next one is Rick Bombay. That was his name, Rick Bombay. Rick Bombay, played by Paul Cracker, I believe, from part 3. This, for me, ever since I was a kid, felt like one of the sort of... I mean, it's a fun kill, and it's effective in 3D, but it always felt a bit naff to me because it looks so bloody fake. I think Savini would have done a better job of this. It's cheesy, but then I guess that's the charm of it. It was made for audiences to duck, wasn't it? And I guess that now it's sort of part of the franchise's identity, certainly part 3's identity. But it's fun. It's fun. It's worth it in that format, I think. But it does look pretty naff. 28 seconds to vote, folks. What do you feel about Rick Bombay's head crush? I actually didn't really like him as a character. He was too straight, too level-headed for a Friday the 13th film for me. He looked about 50 years older than all the rest of the cast. But, you know, at least he has a kind of semi-memorable exit, I guess. 5 seconds left, folks. 2, 1, and the vote is up on Rick Bombay. He's last at the moment. 22 of you, that's all, voted on Rick Bombay's head crush. Campfire Carnage, 2 of you voted it in that section. 11 in Mother Approves, and 9 of you in Lost in the Woods. Okay, so let's Let's have a look. Echoes of the Unknown says Jason kind of shoots himself in the foot by hanging him up over the door. You can tell he's forgotten and is annoyed. He's there later on when he rips him down. Yes, he hammers him to the door and then just has to pull him down himself. Like, leaving for the cops to find, oh, fuck, yeah, I can't get out now. Solid documentary and book. Yeah, the book and the documentary. But as I said in the video that I did the other day, the documentary is gold standard. It really is. It's a fantastic documentary. They leave no stone unturned. They get hold of everybody pretty much that's willing and still alive. And it was sad that there were people that died literally before the documentary was released that are part of it. But it's great that they've, preserved in there. So, if you haven't seen Crystal Lake Memories, folks, there's a great 101 Films Blu-ray of it floating around at the moment. And it's, God, it must be knocking 7 hours, 6.5 hours or something like that. It's a lot longer than the Freddy one by the same makers, actually. Okay, what are some good Valentine's horror movies? Well, I mean, the 4 that I've been concentrating on, and I wouldn't say they were all good, but the 4 that I'm doing, I'm going to talk about, this is a little kind of, should I tell you? Yeah, I will tell you. The 2 My Bloody Valentines, Valentine and Heart Eyes, I'm going to talk about on this little thing. Because would you believe it? 45 years ago, yesterday, My Bloody Valentine was released. And that makes the remake of My Bloody Valentine 17 years old this year, which is insane. So, yeah, I just thought, we'll do something on 45 years of Valentine's horror and just have a little bit of fun with it. Because, they're all, I guess, most of them are watchable horror films. Okay, Crispin versus Van Damme and Kickboxer dance off. Yeah, that's a pretty ropey dance, isn't it? Paul says effective in 3D and fun, but looks fake. Mother approves. Rick could have kicked his legs out a bit more and Chris would have seen him. He was literally 2 feet away from her. Part 3 is the cheesiest of the original 6. It has the absolute worst acting in the series and this guy was awful. Still a fun movie, though. Yeah, he was pretty naff, wasn't he? I mean, none of them have got really... I mean, like, I think... And the Nigel and Davey were saying tonight, I totally agree with them that Adrienne King's acting's fucking awful, absolutely dreadful in the original. But yeah, it's a lot of people really like her as a final girl with a ball of string that she throws at Mrs. Voorhees. Rick, that creepy college guy who hangs out with high schoolers. Rick should have gone out with Mary Jo Conrad instead. Andy says part 3 is way too camp for my liking and the effects were a big letdown due to being specifically designed. Yeah, I mean, the guys who did My Bloody Valentine, the remake, which I actually watched this evening. My train journey's so long from work. It's a 2-hour journey. And I watched the whole film on the way back. And I hadn't seen it for quite some time. I actually quite enjoyed it. I think there's some really decent kills in there. And they're not, they are gimmicky, but they're not as gimmicky as they are in Friday the 13th. And they're still effective in 2D in My Bloody Valentine. Whereas the kills in Friday the 13th, or a lot of the moments in Friday the 13th, in 2D, look pretty annoying. But I still love Friday the 13th Part 3. I think the final showdown is terrific. Brandon says, Darren, I tagged Daniel Farrans in the video and he loved it. What, the one that I did? Really? Oh, that's cool. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Yeah, he needs to get his arse in gear. I know there was talk about them doing a Halloween version of, Never Sleep Again and Crystal Lake Memories. But it would be great. Given his links to the franchise as well, you would think he's in a great position to do it. But who knows? Who knows? Okay. Let's... Kimberly Beck is great as Trish in Final Chapter. She is. She is. I tell you who didn't come across very well in Crystal Lake Memories. The girl that's the final girl in Part 5. Apparently she wasn't very popular on set, but she seemed very... I don't want to speak ill of her, but she didn't come across too well on the documentary. Anyway, let's kick off the vote. Don't want to speak ill of her. I did. Okay. Sheriff Mike Garris, or Mick Garris. This was obviously named after horror director and talking head aficionado Mick Garris, or a god of mine. I absolutely adore Mick Garris. Sheriff Garris from Part 6, who has his back broken in a rather a moment, whereas I guess Jason's showing off that this zombified version of himself is, you know, has got some sort of superhuman strength that he can fold a man in two. It really does establish that zombie Jason machismo in that moment. David Kagan was the actor. Effects were done by Martin Becker, I believe. And yeah, what's to say? He was snapped in half. It's a horrible moment. There is an uncut version if you look around for it. You can see an uncut version of it. It was slightly more prolonged. But I just think it works so well. And it's a character that I really like. I think if we were talking about that one film with all the likable characters in it, you know, who did we say earlier? Crispin Glover's character. I would put Sheriff Mike Garris into that movie as well. I think he's one of the better characters across the franchise. Oh, there we go. I've been waffling too long. I've missed that. Third. Sheriff Mike Garris is third. 15 of you voted him in Campfire Carnage. 8 of you voted him in Mother Approves. And 3 of you voted him in Lost in the Woods. Let me just put the tier maker vote in the chat again. Thank you, Brandon. What have we got next? Let's have a look at the chat. Echoes of the Unknown says Part 7 and 3 have really bad actors in. Then Freddy versus Jason has overacting, though, which to me is worse. Let me just get a drink, folks. Seek out the unrated cut of the original My Bloody Valentine. Please, come on. Come on. I was there day one for that. I've had it years. It's been out about 10 years now, I think. I have it twice, actually. Yeah, it's great. The girl that gets it through, the guy that gets it through the chin and out the mouth and all that kind of stuff, which is, they did a kind of version of it with, what's his name? Atkins in the remake, which is really effective when Atkins gets it in the chin and then gets his jaw ripped off. But yeah, there's some brutal stuff in the uncut version of My Bloody Valentine. Does anyone remember Dave doing a dance to the Friday the 13th soundtrack? He did. I absolutely remember that. He did. It's probably still on his channel. Daniel is trying to get a remake of Happy Birthday to Me off the ground. Oh, I like Happy Birthday to Me. That's interesting. Diva Melanie Kinnaman, Part 5. Know what you mean? Yes, it was Melanie Kinnaman. It was. Yes. Yeah. Had a diva reputation. Campfire Carnage, cool kill from a cool entry, says Paul. Oh, God, that sheriff is broken in half. He is. And there's another kill, which we're going to talk about in a bit, which kind of mirrors it a little bit, which I think is really effective. The similar back break in the Blob is better. Yeah, that's another... Isn't that another deputy or something as well that gets his back broken, if I remember right? Hit the noise on the cherries. It's going to be a hairy turn. Brandon says, I have a friend who is a small-town police chief and Sheriff Garris is his favourite character. Yeah, I think he's great. I really do. Dude just got a life-size Tarman bust and torso delivered on Tuesday. Still just buying the essentials. There's no stopping you, is there? That's great. Is it Jack of the Dust? I see Jack of the Dust is doing Tarman heads all the time. These glass ones that he sculpts, and they look absolutely terrific. They really do. Who gave Jason his chiropractor license? Greetings from Raleigh, North Carolina. Greetings, sir. Thank you for joining. Don Mack says the theatrical cut seems to be the only version of My Bloody Valentine on most streaming channels. That's right. It was lost for a lot of years, and then I think about 10 years ago, Scream Factory managed to cobble it all back together. And then they brought it out on 4K as well, and Steelbook and all the rest of it. But yeah, there's some really cool stuff in there. There was some brutal gore that was cut. Some terrific stuff. Okay, let's move on. And we have Axel Burns. Good old Axel from Part 4, Final Chapter. Joseph Zito directed Final Chapter in 1984 off the back of Rosemary's Killer or Prowler. The Prowler. Bruce Marler played Axel Burns. Tom Savini was back for Final Chapter to do the effects this time round. And this kill is, he spends the first sort of 5 minutes of his presence on screen just staring at a wobbling arse on a fitness video. He's distracted by that. Jason gets up from the morgue slab, gets him from behind. It's like a bone saw that he puts through his neck and then twists his head round. And it's a great Savini effect. It really is. Basically, Savini comes back and almost he says, right, let's get nasty right from the get-go. And you get one of the best kills in the franchise. And a great bit of scoring done to it as well by Manfredini. Yeah, his kind of Axel's leching and sleazy humor make that whole moment feel kind of justified because he is a creepy fucker. He's more creepy than Jason in this film, I think. 3 seconds left, folks, and time is up. Axel is third, so we have Crispin Glover first, we have Kevin Bacon in second place with the arrow kill, and then Axel with the hacksaw to the neck is in third place. Okay, let's have a look at the chat here. Brand says, I need my back cracked like this. Oof. Yeah. Who else loves Shelley? Larry Zerner, is it? I think. Yeah, he was one of the he was also one of the wasn't he one of the lawyers on the dispute or was involved in some way? He was giving regular updates on it, wasn't he? I can't see this guy as anyone else other than Sergeant Fackler from Police Academy. Yeah, exactly. Daz, I would love to buy physical media, but I just don't have the room where I live, says Brandon. My huge DVD and Blu-ray collection is gathering dust in my sister's attic. Awesome 50 says Axel's death is brutal, so impressive and well edited. Originally cut in the UK version back when I first... It was another sequence along with the machete slide that was cut. I also think, wasn't the raft kill trimmed right down as well? The dinghy kill, which we'll get to in a bit. I think that may have been cut slightly in the UK. Axel didn't hear Jason getting off of the morgue table and sneaking up on him as he's too busy watching some fitness ass. Jesus jumping Christmas fuck. Yeah, that line is great, isn't it? Echoes of the Unknown says, then shut my mouth, filthy Axel. Deserve this and more. Wonder what was in his sandwich. God knows. I say Andy has the best death in the franchise. I absolutely love the handstand kill. Well, we'll get a chance to vote on that in a little while. Someone should have done a background check on old Axel. Questionable motives. Great kill, though, says Chris. And Myers fan Andy says the Scream Factory uncut edition of My Bloody Valentine is from George Mihalki's own print and only licensed for their physical release. Is that true? I'm sure I know that from watching every single extra that's on that and listen to the commentaries and stuff. But it's a long time since I've done that. I am going to watch the original tomorrow, though. Okay, let's kick off with our 8th vote. And we're looking at Mark Jarvis, Friday the 13th, Part 2. I have a feeling this one might tickle Crispin Glover. We'll see. Effects by Carl Fullerton. Machete to the face. Tumbles down the stairs in a wheelchair. Fast. Cruel. It's kind of shocking because of how quick it is. No build up really or anything like that. Okay, he's sitting there. The lightning's crashing. It's just sudden violence. And I guess just like reinforces how unpredictable Jason can be. It's gone straight to the top tier. 15 people have voted so far. I'm going to pop the link in the chat again. Let's see where this ends up. It's in second place now. 20 of you voted it in first place here. Will it be enough to beat Crispin Glover, who's on 21 votes? It's first place. There we go. Mark Jarvis, with 30 seconds to go, is already in first place. Wiping the floor with Crispin Glover. 22 votes here. There are a couple that could challenge it, though, later on. 15 seconds left to vote, folks. Mark Jarvis, played by... Who played him now? Tom McBride. I already said that, didn't I? Okay, the vote is up. And Mark Jarvis, whoops, ends up with 24 votes in first place. 86% of you voted it in Campfire Carnage. 3 of you in Mother Approves. And 1 of you voted it in Lost in the Woods. Great stuff. I had a feeling that one was going to go to the top there. Gory Tiger's here. Hey, Gory, says, what's up? Don Mac 3000 says, that exercise video Axel watches is available on YouTube under the title Aerobicize. I have to look that up now. Aerobicize. I got. Well, you watch Brandon drop it. Don't go away and watching it now, folks. Wait until after this. Brandon, I put all my non-limited edition stuff into disc storage bags. Axel is a kill where we're all happy for it to happen, and a great kill. All my stuff is on the shelves, but I back them up onto a server I have sat right here. So I have Plex or Jellyfin, and I can just pick any movie I want on any TV or device I've got and watch it streamed directly from my little box here. Just saves me having to get them all out, and I save them all in full 4K HDR quality with the original Atmos soundtracks and everything. Takes up a bit of space, but yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. Some good dialogue in Final Chapter. Probably my favorite Friday the 13th script. Yeah, it's kind of, it's gold standard in the franchise, isn't it? Final Chapter. Axel strikes me as a liverwurst sandwich type of guy. Yeah, he's not sat there eating a prawn sandwich, is he? I think he's just, there'd be something really grotty in there, won't it? Like offal or something, you know? Mark Jarvis, they didn't wait too long starting reusing names. I'm going to be watching part 3 tomorrow, says Spider Supreme. Brandon says this is my favorite kill. It's so abrupt, violent, and cruel. Gina says, I'll catch the replay, Darren, as I have a migraine. And oh, no worries, Gina. Hope you feel better soon. Poor Mark, fantastic death scene, brilliantly staged and edited. Felt so sorry for him. Yeah, it's they went there with that, didn't they? They did go there. May tickle Crispin Glover is not a sentence I ever thought I'd hear. And Ziggy says, don't forget to send the like button some. Yeah, exactly. Send the like button some love. Thank you, Gina. What else have we got here? It's more shocking that it's blunt side of the machete that's driven into his face. Is that true? I don't think I've ever noticed that. Hi all, doesn't he stay in the wheelchair all the way down them steps? Not seen it in years. He does. It's such a... I think they built some sort of rail for it to go down, if I remember from the documentary. It's... I told you Brandon would find it. Don't we all click on it now? There's another vote to start. Okay, I'm going to put the link in there while you guys are watching the bouncy arses. And we'll kick off the next vote, which is Samantha Lane from the Final Chapter, the dinghy kill. Is it Samantha Lane or Lake? I think it's Samantha Lane. Judy Aronson, I think, was the actress who played her. Speared through the chest from beneath the raft. I really like this. Another one of Savini's kind of, excuse me, magic tricks where he builds a fake body and she stood in the water whilst the guys underneath are skewering through the fake body of hers, and caused a big problem on set because she was borderline getting hypothermia. And I think it was Ted White from the documentary who actually stood up to the director and said, "Look, if you don't get her out of here now, I'm going with her. You know, you'll not see me again." And the director had a panic, and eventually they got her out and warmed her up, and then came back out later in the evening. But yeah, it caused a real ruckus on set shooting this scene. 20 seconds left to vote. Classic. Yeah, it's a classic. I think it's one of the classic scenes in the franchise. It's a trick that Savini's done on a few occasions by this point. But there's that calm surface, and then that sudden spear from below is just... I just think it's really effective. And again, some great scoring in this scene as well. But you guys think it's just middling. It's in Mother Approves. 6 of you voted it in Campfire Carnage. 15 of you voted it in Mother Approves. And 5 of you voted it in Lost in the Woods. Dave Vanderhoff says, "Hello, Darren. Happy Friday the 13th. Good to see you, Dave." Don Max says, "Taking a wheelchair down those steps should be an Olympic sport." Dingy Kill, another good one that was initially trimmed on the VHS in the UK. Yeah, I was pretty sure it was. Yeah. My hot take is part 3 is the best Friday the 13th movie, says Spider Supreme. I think it's one of my favorites. I'll agree with you on that. It's up there. It's, I would say it's top 3, top 4 for me. Respect for her doing the scene, but her being killed face was ass. Yeah, she just kind of contorts her jaw and sticks her tongue out a little bit, doesn't she? Ted White defending the actress and hated the brat Feldman. What a great guy. Yes. Yeah, he didn't pull any punches on that documentary, did he? The raft what sank with the hole in. Wraith says, "Can you imagine some dude in full Jason costume diving giving the director shit about the actress?" Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not, honestly. He could see that she was distressed, but obviously Joe Zito was just worried about getting his shot in. Yeah, he did threaten to walk. He said, "Look, if you don't get her out of the water now, I'm going with her." I think it's a good kill, but pedestrian compared to some of the others, says Brandon. Isn't this the same actress from Weird Science? It is the same actress from Weird Science. The two girls that I think they meet in the mall. Is that right? I'm pretty sure. Solid kill, but still better to come in final chapter. And yeah, Joe Zito was supposedly an absolute prick of a filmmaker. He has made 4 solid flicks that I really like. Well, go on. Invasion USA. What else? Final chapter. The Prowler. And God, what else did he do? I think he do some more canon stuff. I'm trying to remember now. The guitar scene in Jason Takes Manhattan is one of my favorites. Savini was great in The Deer Hunter. Okay, American Ninja. Was she in American Ninja? Wow. Okay. Ted White, great guy, and what a brilliant Jason he was, says Awesome50. Okay, let's move on. We're now on to our 10th vote. And it's Adrienne Thomas Hart. Now, for me, this one can challenge Mark Jarvis. Okay, so this is Jason X. This is the actor was Christy Angus, I believe. Adrienne Thomas Hart is the character. It's the liquid nitrogen scene where her head's dipped in the liquid nitrogen. Jason freezes her face, pulls it back, and then smashes it on the counter. And for me, it's one of the worst films in the franchise, but one of the best kills in the franchise. Top tier for me, I think, is this. She's right up in second place behind Mark Jarvis at the moment. How many did Mark Jarvis get? Mark Jarvis ended up with 24 votes, and she's overtaken him. Fantastic stuff. Totally over the top, but it works because it totally commits to what it's doing. The liquid nitrogen setup is, obviously pure sci-fi nonsense, and then the smash is really brutal and weirdly like kind of satisfying as well when it happens. It's just like slush, red slush. It's one of those kills that everyone remembers, even if you don't like the film. So vote is up, and it is way ahead in first place. 27 of you voted it in the top tier. One of you voted it in the second tier, and nobody voted it in the third tier. So we're going to have to go some to beat this kill. But it is possible. There are a few decent ones left to come. There's still 10. How many we got left to go? 10, yeah, 10 left to go. And there's some real classics in there. Okay, Red Scorpion missing in action. Yeah, he did. He did. Red Scorpion. That was a pile of shite. Missing in action was fun. I actually liked Missing in Action 3 out of all three of them. It was a real Rambo ripoff, though, wasn't it? The liquid nitrogen kill is so creative and brutal, says John Jones. Easily the best death in Jason X. Fantastic kill, and Kane Hodder is a badass when he smashes her face into the counter. The only scene I like in the whole movie, says Don Mac. Double top tier vote for true beauty and a brilliantly creative kill. I love the liquid kill in Jason. I believe Kane Hodder said it was his favorite kill he did as Jason. I'm not surprised. I explained this kill to a coworker years ago, and a girl overheard us talking and got offended. True story. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. God, somebody in our company got told off for saying the word Chinese whispers a couple of years ago. So yeah, tier 1 all the way. Saw Jason X on release day in the States, and the face smash is an absolute banger of an effect. Kill not cool. Yeah, I got that, Brandon. Off to Crime 101. We'll watch the rest later. Catch you all. Go see it, buddy. Go see it. I enjoyed it. It's good fun, it's Crime 101. There are Jason X sequel novels. Can't see me ever reading those. Really? Did they do some sequel novels? I actually think the liquid nitrogen kill might be my favorite of the lot, says Connell. And Wraith says, I think they need Chuck Norris from Invasion USA fighting Part 4 Jason. Darren, don't be blaspheming on the big Dolph vehicle. Dear. Well, I'm offended that she was offended. Okay, let's kick off that next vote. And we are looking at Trey Cooper from Freddy vs. Jason. One of my favorite kills. I'm not a fan of Freddy versus Jason at all, but I think that this moment is terrific. And it's the scene where he's kind of repeatedly stabbed and then folded up in the bed. It's kind of like similar to the Mick Garris thing, but it's, he's in an actual fold away bed on this one. It's it's the first. I think it's one of the first kills that Jason does in this movie, and he's kind of reclaiming the spotlight, I guess, because it's a fucking lame crossover movie. The kill itself's really stylish and aggressive, and it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. It's almost like a statement that he's back. It's, Freddie, your name might be first on the credits on this film, but this is my territory. It's that kind of thing. Definitely one of the most sadistic kills in the New Line era, I think. It's good stuff. It's top tier at the moment. Not doing too well in the top tier, but it's good. You see, Freddy vs. Jason has some really good moments, but overall the film just doesn't hold together. Like the Cornfield Massacre is great, but just too short. Should have gone on much longer. And, Jason running around on fire, hacking up the kids. It's just such a great stunt. It looks fantastic. So Trey Cooper finishes. Oh, he's dropped. He's dropped into the second tier. 11 of you voted it in first place, 12 in second, and 1 in third. He was in the top tier, but I guess more of you have voted it. Yeah, more of you voted it in the second tier. So he drops down into Mother Approves. Jason X is a masterpiece, says Kingslayer. Frank's a big fan. Frank was always, it's one of his guilty pleasures is Jason X. Freddy vs. Jason has really gone down in my opinion over the years, but this is a great kill. Oh, it's a terrible movie. Terrible movie. A rehash of the sheriff kill, but this douchebag deserves it. Says Grey Simo. Mother approves. Decent effect, but the whole thing is too cartoonish for me, says Paul. And Andy says, I have to abstain here at the 3 times I've watched it. I've fallen asleep at various stages. Christ, you must have fallen asleep quick. This is in the first 5 minutes, I think. Kane Hodder is still bitter that he wasn't in Freddy versus Jason. He is. He's. You hear that story about Kane Hodder being fucked over as much as you hear Tom Savini going on about being in Vietnam, I think. I find that Freddy vs. Jason, I like Freddy vs. Jason less and less as the years go by. It's a very silly movie that makes no sense, and I hate that this is the last we see of Robert in the role. Yeah, his decapitated head winking. Stupid movie, says Wraith, but I will admit I was seriously excited to go see Freddy vs. Jason at the cinema. And Marisol says it's definitely worth watching, but keep your expectations in check. It's silly. It is silly. And then Colin McQuillan says Freddy vs. Jason is shite, but I love it. Dad says it actually really annoyed me that in Robert Englund's documentary they included Kane crying about not being in. Oh God. Anyway, let's carry on. And we have Amanda from the remake. America Olivo, is it? I can't pronounce her name. America Olivo. Marcus Nispel's Friday the 13th, 2009. Roasted alive inside a sleeping bag over a fire. It's a brutal kill, is this one. And then as the sleeping bag burns through, she just kind of drops down into the whatever's left of the burning embers underneath. Interesting character. I'm waiting for the first person to say stupendous in the chat. I mean, the remake doesn't do subtle at all, and right out the gate, it's just, it's full on for that first 20 minutes, and for the rest of the movie as well. I think it's the best looking Friday the 13th movie that's ever been made. I think it looks absolutely terrific. I think the sound mix is incredible. It's probably got the most unlikable batch of characters out of any Friday the 13th movie, but I actually do like this version. I really do like it. I've really grown to like it over the years. And this is a great kill, a brutal kill. The character that all of us enjoyed for the first 5 minutes that she was on screen. And straight away, when Jason comes into this movie, we know right from the get-go that this is a Jason that's really going to fucking hurt people. And he does. Okay, where are we with that? So Amanda finishes 5th in the top tier. 26 of you voted on Amanda. 17 of you put it in Campfire Carnage. 7 in Mother Approves. And 2 in Lost in the Woods. So, let's have a look at what you guys say in the chat about her. Tom Savini went to space, I like Jason X. Dumb concept, but fun film. Loses me once it goes to Cyber Jason, though. Hate that look. See, for me, that was probably one of the more entertaining moments in the film, because up until that point, everything, the sets, the special effects, the characters just looked so awful that all I could do was wait for that moment. I don't like the look of the regular Jason in it. I think, it's got this kind of like, I don't know, furry head or whatever. It's just weird. The look of Jason changed so drastically throughout Kane Hodder's period that towards the end, I was like, this just looks naff. And so when Uber Jason came on, I just had fun with it. I thought it was great. Freddy vs. Jason is daft, but the final act is entertaining, says Gray. John says, I'm claustrophobic. So this kill really gets me. Being stuck in a sleeping bag with nowhere to go and knowing you are being burned alive is just horrible. Being dead isn't the problem, but being forgotten. Now can quote the hell out of Freddy vs. Jason. Oh, okay, right. I haven't seen it enough to quote it. I've probably only seen it 2 or 3 times. Once when it came out, and then I think I watched it a couple of times for a couple of episodes that we did. That was it. Amanda is no Brie in the remake. And Awesome 50 says, really effective death scene, and I love the remake more and more as time goes on. I agree with you. One of the most intense sequences for a Friday the 13th movie. She's good at applying that baby oil, though she is. Myers fan says, I'm not a fan of Kane Hodder, and X was personally his best and most suited Jason. Really? Okay, interesting, because I always prefer his portrayal in New Blood, I think. I only watched the remake once. Decent effect, but I hope we don't get any more reboots. It's like an alternate timeline to me. Don't like it. You're talking to Echo. Deshaun says the 09 Jason went nuts. One of his best Jasons. Yeah, it's Derek Mears is a great Jason in that film. Since rewatching the remake 4K, I really like the remake. Cracking look and effects, says Andy. I agree. As remakes go, Friday the 13th does have one of the best remakes ever. Love the remake, mostly for the smarter, more athletic Jason. And Amanda's death is a rough one to watch, says Chester. Andy says, Brandon, are these streams like free therapy for you and your trauma? I hope so. Anyone agree Kane Hodder is the worst, is in the worst Friday? He's one of the best Jasons in the worst Friday films, I think. Yeah, I agree. This is one of the most brutal Jason kills, being burned alive and suffering like that. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. The vote is underway for Andy Beltrami, Friday the 13th, Part 3. Directed by Steve Miner, released in 1982. Jeffrey Rogers, I believe, was the actor. Effects done by Martin Becker, I think. Split vertically while doing a handstand. Remember when he's doing that hand? He's walking around on his hands and Jason just comes up behind him with the machete and slices down. A bit gimmicky. Yeah, I don't know whether it would have been one of my favorites at all. It's a nasty kill, but it just kind of looks odd on screen because of that 3D effect that they... Dr. Darren is insane. Because of that 3D effect that they apply to it. It's kind of like, is it like a glass floor that they shoot up and film through? It just looks kind of odd to me. I like it, but I wouldn't go mad over it. And it doesn't look like you guys are going mad over it either. I know Johnny Horror Rocker. He's a great fan of this kill. Yeah, an interesting one. The handstand, the slow approach. You know, you get to see Jason with the hockey mask on in all his glory before he kind of slices down. It's a good shot of him. I guess in 3D it was designed for audiences to sort of duck in their seats. Whether it worked or not, I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous, but unforgettable, I guess. Okay, so Andy Beltrami finished. He's in last place in the top tier there. 10 votes in Campfire Carnage. 3 in Mother Approves. Only 15 of you voted on this one. 88 of you watching at the moment, folks. If you could hit the like button, that would be great. Those of you that are new to the channel or haven't seen it before in any way, if you could consider subscribing, that would be really cool as well. Yeah, 10 of you had voted in first place, 3 in second, and 2 in Lost in the Woods. Let's see what you guys think of the handstand scene. This guy annoys me too much in the film. Just walk your arse. That shit still hurts watching that scene. Yeah, it's a rough scene. How can you go wrong with this kill? It's total nuts. Handstand death. Love this and always makes me cross my legs, says Awesome 50. Spider Supreme says, I think Jason won at the end of that movie. Myers fan says, if you don't cringe, you've got no balls. I think for years, and still even now, I can't quite see what's going on. I think that's the problem for me. I think there's a shot later on where you see him kind of in two pieces, which is just odd as well. But for years, I was looking at it going, what happened there? Did he just get slashed down the back? Because for someone who's split in half, there's not much mess. Paul says, Campfire Carnage, a classic, but actually makes no sense. Jason slashes straight down, but cuts him in half sideways. Yeah, that's what I was confused over. Excuse me. Awesome kill, but it's how Jason folds him up in the ceiling for the girlfriend to find. And Marisol says, and not a drop of blood anywhere on the floor. Yeah, that's my point, yeah. Dino Rabbit says, I recently watched all the Friday the 13th movies after a long time, and this time I liked Friday the 13th Part 3 the most. Jason in that movie is mad. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Richard Brooker. And a Brit as well. Good old Richard Brooker. Awesome 50 says it works well on the 3D Blu-ray. And Marisol says, yeah, it's like the Jason got a mop handy. Do you blink when he does it? Because it shows it. It shows what? It's just a guy collapsing upside down. That's all it is. Anyway, let's not go on about it too much. Let's kick off the next vote. And we're voting on Alice Hardy, Adrienne King from Friday the 13th Part 2, who apparently demanded too much money, and so they they didn't let her carry on. They killed her off in the first scene. It's kind of, I always find it, I mean, Friday the 13th Part 2 is one of my favorites. It really is, and I prefer it to the original. But I do think that opening scene goes on a little bit too long. Ice pick to the temple in the opening scene. Remember she finds the head in the fridge and everything? It's a really cold scene. It's really shocking. It's cruel because you expect her to be in the movie for longer than what she actually is, and they pull a Hitchcock on us and kill her off in the first few minutes, or kill, you know, like a Janet Leigh type thing, a character that's established and that you're comfortable with, and you know you think's going to be around, is just killed pretty much straight away. And it's kind of like, I guess, a moment where the franchise is sort of telling us, we don't care about legacy. We're just going to kill her off. I guess she was too greedy. She doesn't talk about that. Other people talk about that on the documentary, but she doesn't say that that she was asking for too much money. Okay. Alice Hardy's kill is on the second tier. 5th place on the second tier. 28 of you voted on that one, folks. Just 28 of you. 6 of you voted it in the top tier. 11 in Mother Approves and 11 in Lost in the Woods. All the votes are tiered, are spread between the second and third tier, and so Alice ends up in the second tier. Okay. Let's see what you guys think of Alice's kill. Andy says, this great kill for Alice and an excellent start to where the real Jason era starts. Nice and ballsy for a sequel to kill the final girl. Great Jason. Yeah. Is it, though? I don't know. I guess, you know, I would have liked to have seen her go on, I guess. Although she is terrible. She's terrible in the original Friday the 13th, but it was kind of a comfort blanket seeing her on screen and then to see her get killed off. I don't know whether I was happy with it or not. This one is disappointing, says Nick P. And Cheney says, she's so terrible, she should have killed her in the first movie. Reboot is overrated, in my opinion, said Spider Supreme. And Daz says, love part 2, but the main film is only about an hour long. Yeah, once you get beyond the Alice Hardy sequence, it's because it's a good 15-20 minutes, isn't it? I think Alice kill is dull. The uncensored version is better, seeing it come through her nose. Yes. Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right about that. I hate this character, says Janie, so much. Just ass. The opening plus the credits is about 17 minutes. That leaves 73 minutes of lean slasher. And Wraith UK J31 says, the kill just pisses me off. This whole scene feels odd. Jason leaves Crystal Lake to go kill her. It takes ages. And then I have to watch a rerun of the best bits of part 1 again. Campfire Carnage, says Paul. Classic and paved the way for the hotter final girls. Her cat jumping through the window gave me a jump the first time watching it. And what's Jason played by a woman in the opening? What wasn't Jason played by a woman in the opening outside? Yes, I believe it was somebody off. I think it was one of the producers or something like that, who put a big pair of boots on and a pair of jeans or whatever and stepped out into the puddle. So yeah, it was Jason's first on-screen moment was actually played by a woman. At least he turned the kettle off and left the cat. Everyone has their good side. Yeah. I like the opening as there's no need to review part 1. It's all there, says Andy. And Stephen Green says, do you think Jason had a cup of tea or a pot noodle once the kettle was boiled? Maybe he had a Vesta. I think her acting is much better in part 2. She has a very natural phone conversation. Yeah, I guess so. And Chester says it was a stunt woman. Was it stunt woman? Yeah, probably. You're probably right, Chester. Oh, and Brandon says, I think it was the costume designer. So we have producer, stunt woman, costume designer. Who cares? It was a woman. Okay, let's start the next vote. And we're voting on Pamela from the original Friday the 13th. Losing a Swede. Betsy Palmer. Effects by Tom Savini and Tasso Stavrakis, who's the guy that you see the hairy knuckles. When Pamela's decapitated, you get the hands with the hairy knuckles. That's Tasso's hands. Decapitated by Alice. And a horror history moment, folks. A horror history moment. Slow motion decapitation was pretty legendary. It looks good. It looks great. And without this moment, I guess you could argue there's no franchise. So it's important. It's incredibly important. It's currently, with 30 seconds to go, it's in the middle of the top tier or thereabouts. 22 of you have voted on this. I'm just going to put the link in again. Put that in there for you guys. If anybody wants to vote, feel free. There's 60 participants at the moment. 87 of you watching. 18 seconds left to vote. Pamela's creeping up the top tier there. She's in 5th place. 19 of you have voted her in the top place at the moment. 5 seconds left to vote, folks. Let's see how Pamela does. And she finishes 5th in the top tier. 26 votes in total. 19 in top tier, 5 in the middle tier, and 2 of you in Lost in the Woods. Let's see what you guys think in the chat. The novelization in the original screenplay made it a bit more clear that she moved back to Crystal Lake to confront her past there, and that's how Jason found her. Okay. Andy says, okay, now, guys, we're not talking the need for Oscar standards. It was Tom Savini. What was Tom Savini? What was Tom Savini? Are you saying that the hands were Tom Savini? Because if you watch the documentary, it's Tasso that Tom Savini talks about it being Tasso's hands. Pam's death is so iconic, has to be Campfire Carnage. Says awesome 50. Deshaun says everything about the original is terrible, so she can throw bodies through the window but can't kill the little white girl. Stop it. Alice sucked at running too. Mother approves, says Paul. Betsy is probably a lovely person, but she genuinely gives me the creeps. I'd wait for the next elevator, if you know what I mean. And you can see the toothpicks that held the prosthetic head on. You can when she's decapitated. You see the little cocktail sticks that are there. Pam Kill would be better without the weird hands. She looks like some Italian gesticulating her displeasure. Tier 1 for the capitation and still looks good. However, hairy knuckles in 4K, not so much. And Daz says, nah, it was Tasso. You can see him in Creepshow as the other garbage man. Exactly. I know it was Tasso. There is a lot of people that do say it was Tom Savini, but no, it was Tasso that played Mrs. Voorhees in that shot. Pamela was best part of the movie, but how you can't kill her. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you can't kill her when you're throwing balls of string at her. That's the thing. And when you look at that scene, this is what gets me, because she throws the string at her. But if you look at the wall, there's guns on the wall. There's every single weapon that you could possibly want on the wall. But she picks up a ball of string, which just annoys me every time I watch it. She was great as Mrs. Voorhees Chester. It's a great role. And when she first did it, she thought it was garbage. She actually didn't like, she regretted doing it afterwards. And it wasn't until a few years later when, she started going to making appearances and conventions and things like that, she realized that it was one of the best decisions that she'd ever made. And yeah, I do like the character. I do. I just think she should have been handled better earlier on in the film. She should have made an appearance earlier on, I think. So many weapons and through string. Exactly. She does whack her in the minge with the butt of a gun, says Brad. Okay, let's kick off the next vote. We have 4 left to vote on, folks. Who have we got? Number 1 is Adrienne Thomas Hart from Jason X. The liquid nitrogen scene is number 1. Let's see if any of our next contenders can challenge that. We have Jeff and Sandra. Okay, so we have Jeff and Sandra. This is Friday the 13th, part 2. Jeff and Sandra, played by Bill Randolph and Marta Kober. 1981 when the film came out. Steve Miner, as we all know, directed it. Carl Fullerton doing the effects. And this scene is a scene that was kind of taken from, I guess, Bay of Blood. It's a scene where the two of them are skewered in bed while they're bumping uglies. Double spear impalement. Infamous across the franchise now, I guess. Would you call it controversial? No, I don't think it's controversial. It caused a lot of... I know it caused a lot of censorship debates when it first came out. Because you have a couple who are actually in the throes of sex when this happens. I think it's really effective. I really do. I love the shot of the end of the spear hitting the floor under the bed. I think that's really cool. But how does it sit with you guys? Not too good at the moment. Not too good. A lot of people are voting on this. And it's finished in the second tier there. Jeff and Sandra end up at the head of the second tier. Only 9 of you voted it in Campfire Carnage. 17 of you voted it in Mother Approves, and 2 of you voted it in Lost in the Woods. It's, yeah. I don't know whether people are annoyed because it was ripped off from another film or whether it's just not that effective to you. Deshaun says, don't care for this scene. I remember the still of it was on the back of the VHS in the UK. Like the spear in his back and the girl looking over his shoulder down at it. It's a really good shot. As Ralphie May would say, Sandra caught a stabbing. Great kill in concept, says Nick, but you don't see anything. There's no money shot. I think it's just effective. I think it's one of those kills that you don't need too much. The thought of 2 people being killed together like that in that situation is enough, I think. Love the tribute, but Bava did it better. Yeah. Twitch of the Death Nerve, wasn't it? That was the other title of Bay of Blood. Twitch of the Death Nerve? I think it was. Jeff pushed a bit too deep, says Wraith. Yeah, that's a good point, because when I was getting the pictures ready for this, every picture that I found of Marta Koba, she did look incredibly young. How old was she, Brandon? Without me getting the stream shut down. She was 16 in real life. They shouldn't have let her do that role. Wow, okay. Interesting. Fun fact, Sandra is the sister of the boy in Final Chapter. The boy in Final Chapter, which boy? I think the scene is done better in Friday the 13th Part 2. Okay, Don, compared to Bay of Blood. And Echoes of the Unknown says, not great. The Vicky killing Part 2 is creepier when she wakes him from his little nap. Yeah, that's a great scene. And you get that shot of the hand with the knife and the lightning crashing, and he's got that kind of blood blister on his nail as he's walking towards her. Yeah, that's a really, really cool. Look, everybody's arguing over her age now. She was 17. She was 16. Well, if you have to get speared, that's probably the best way to get it, says Paul. He's killing me, guy. Yeah. Oh, the guy in the corner of the room when Jason goes at him, hacking him away, and he's screaming, he's killing me. The boy who helped Trish and Tommy fixing the engine of the car. Right. Okay. I didn't realize that. So you're talking about in real life or in the franchise, it's supposed to be his sister. Is that what you're saying? Either way, let's kick off the next vote. We've four left to vote on, folks. And your next vote is Debbie Caldwell. This is the uncut scene from Jason Goes to Hell, the tent scene, which goes on for quite some time in the uncut version. Effects by KNB, Nicotero and his crew. Now, I don't know what Jason uses in this. A lot of people say a tent pole. It looks like like a discarded signpost or something that he uses. Well, either way, it's like a really hefty, weighty piece of metal that he sticks in her back and then slices upwards and sort of splits her in two. It's really effective. A real sort of full splatter moment. I guess it almost feels like it's sort of less slasher and more body horror because of the way things end up. It's really gooey and mean and like so unapologetically over the top. It's no wonder it didn't make it to the theatrical cut. It's a brutal scene, a really brutal scene, and it's creeping its way up the first tier here, up the campfire carnage. 20 of you have voted it in first place. I guess you have to have seen the uncut version, which is on the Blu-ray, the unrated version of Jason Goes to Hell. Impaled and then ripped in half by Philip Jason with a pole. It's just a pole. Oh, they had for right, yeah. That's dodgy. That Brandon. Jason has some dodgy looking nails in the series. Yeah, I think the Ted White nails are disgusting, aren't they? When he's pushing that guy's head on the shower, and also when he grabs the nurse in the morgue, you can see how his black nails are just horrible. It was a signpost. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. The uncut tent impalement is incredible and gory. Always been one of my favorite kills since 9-year-old me saw it when I really shouldn't have been allowed to. By the way, does anybody know when Hearts of Darkness is coming out? You know, the Adam Marcus documentary? I know it was doing like the festival circus, but I expected it to be released by now, but I can't seem to. Has anybody seen it? Is it worth the wait? Because I guess it's coming around fairly soon. Absolutely amazing kill scene. Maybe one of the best of the series. Should have practiced safe sex. I hope Frank is doing good. Frank is, I guess, doing good. I haven't spoken to him for a few weeks, but I'm guessing he's okay. Don't remember this. Hate goes to hell or the slug or death, as they may as well have called it. Don't remember this. Hate goes to hell or the slug of death, as they may as well have called. Right, okay, the slug of death. Yeah. It's kind of like The Hidden, isn't it? That 80s horror film where the things jump in bodies. The tent kill was such a great scene in such an abysmal film, says Rick. The speared girl is the sister the guy in final chapter is looking for. Odd, given how close the events are. She was killed like just a few days earlier. No, I get it now. Is that who he was referring to? Right. You know, I never knew that. Okay, thanks for clarifying that. Brand says, I will always love the Halloween series more, but even Jason Goes to Hell isn't nearly as bad as Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm really in the minority, but I actually like Jason Goes to Hell, says Wraith. And Maya Sven says, even unrated, it goes to show you can't polish a turd. Nobody's seen Hearts of Darkness, the Jason Goes to Hell documentary then. I know it's been screened a few times. He keeps teasing a Blu-ray or something, but nothing seems to have come along yet. But we'll see. Okay, so Debbie Caldwell finishes in fourth place there in the first tier. 20 of you in voted in first place, 2 in second, 2 in third. Let's kick off the next vote. Vote number 18. And we have Melissa Parr. One of my favorites, this from New Blood. Really effective kill. Good old-fashioned axe scene. Jason puts an axe in her face and then throws her across the room in this one kind of one-arm movement. Throws her across the room behind the TV, and she just crashes behind the television with the axe still in her head. It's really well done. Whoever did the stunt for this, I think it looks terrific every time I watch it. Directed by John Carl Buechler, as we know. I think, she's a bitch in this film. And so the attitude that she has throughout it makes this kill one of those moments where you're on Jason's side. I remember watching this for the first time with a bunch of friends, and we all cheered when it happened. And I just thought it was a great moment in the movie because it looks so cool. I think it's one of the coolest kills in the franchise, just because it's a brightly lit room. And Jason looks great. You know, it's one of the best looking Jasons in the franchise. It's not the best movie, but certainly one of the best looking Jasons. Just the whole choreography of it is terrific, and the stunt with her going over the top of the TV, I really like. I think it's a terrific moment. 1 second left, and the vote is up on Melissa Parr. Not Core. Okay, let's see what you guys think of her kill. I assume the Jason Goes to Hell doc was going to be included with the Arrow 4K. No, it's not. It's not on there. I'm about as excited as that for that documentary as the Jaws the Revenge one. That looks terrible. That no matter how much you judge that trailer that they've just put out recently, they should be ashamed. Who's going to want to buy into that? Those shots of Kevin Smith making those noises. Yeah. Honestly, I will probably watch it, but I don't think they're doing a good job of the marketing at the moment of that documentary. She certainly deserved the axe in the head, or says Awesome 50. Best scene in the movie for me. And Grace Immo says the Melissa kill is average, but the stunt work going over the TV is to be applauded. Mother approves, says Paul. Nothing special for me, but by far the best look for Jason in the franchise. They should have stuck with this look going forward. Nick says this one is great. Such an awesome stunt. Well done to both of the actors. It's the way she goes flying over that CRT TV when he throws her. It's great. It really is. Just checked on the Adam Marcus doc, and an article in Fangoria from November says it's coming out early this year. Okay, cool. One of my favorites in the franchise, the uncut version, is quick and brutal. And Chester says, "I love the kill. I couldn't stand the character though." Well, I think that's the point of it. Didn't people think she was dead in real life in the documentary? Really? Okay, I can't remember. Tosses her away like a snotty rag. Anybody know if it was a stunt person or a dummy? I don't know. A snotty rag. Okay, let's go to our final vote. I think, is it the final vote? Or no, penultimate vote. And it is Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is the scene that was cut from the UK VHS when it first came out. We got the machete going into the head, but when Jason falls forward and slides down the machete, they totally removed it from the UK version. Got rid of it completely, and it's such an amazing effects sequence. It really is. Ted White and Tom Savini doing the effects work. Joe Zito, as we said earlier, directing. Machete to the head, and then hacked apart by Tommy. It was supposed to be the end. It was supposed to be the end of the franchise, and so Savini gave Jason this really grotesque final look. And the machete slide is, now that I've seen it, and I've seen it for the past 20 odd years now, is iconic. It really is. It's a great moment. It's a great effect. Some of his best work. It's a great moment. It's such a shame that we lost it in the first instance. It's doing well, though. 23 votes. 10 seconds left to go. It's in the top tier. It's second place. There we go. Second place. It finished second. 25 of you voted it in first place, 2 in second, and 2 in third. We've got 1 kill left to go, and it needs to beat 27 points, which is where Adrienne Thomas Hart is from Jason X with the face smash. I don't think that the next kill is going to beat that, but we'll see, because it is a decent kill and it's a kind of seminal moment of the franchise which is left. We'll talk about it in a second. I'll just go over to the chat and just catch up with that. In 2012, it was reported that she had died on August the 10th, 2009. She was confused with a woman by the same name who had passed away on that day in Boston. Oh, I've missed something there. What a fabulous battle between Trish and Jason, with Jason's death being so well done. Love it. Yeah. Campfire carnage all the way. The slide down the blade is one of Savini's best, in my opinion. Deshaun says Tommy got active, did what most of us do, which is keep slicing and dicing. He was really sick that day. Corey Feldman was sick as a dog that day and really didn't want to be on set. But they brought him in and put the skull cap on him and did all the work. And, you know, they didn't actually shave his head. It was a skull cap. But yeah, he was really poorly that day. Final chapter, an outstanding kill, great effect, the great Ted White, a solid Jason. It could have ended here for me. Yeah, me as well. Absolutely me as well. Although I would never have probably discovered Alice Cooper if if it ended there. Gray Simo says, I know it's iconic, and I don't know, you as well, Paul, probably feel the same there. I know it's iconic, but the Jason kill is better in concept than execution. It looks as fake as the Rick Bombay kill. What? Really? No. Glad they did this and not the original idea Savini had to blow him up with a microwave or something. Yeah, they talk about that in the documentary. Man, we got so screwed on cuts on movies in the UK on VHS in the 80s. We did. We absolutely did. And did Savini get that idea from Vietnam? First hockey mask kill, definitely top tier, says Brandon. And Corey Feldman is way sicker now. You know what, guys? I watched the Corey Feldman documentary last Saturday night with my wife. And to say it's toe curling is an understatement. It is embarrassing. Like, he obviously commissioned someone to do it, and then obviously lost any right to a say on what went out. It's filmed kind of 10 years ago when he goes on tour with this band called His Angels or whatever. He is a prize dick, an absolute prize dick. And there's moments in there which are just are unbelievable, of him inviting people back to his trailer with all the rest of the girls, and they're accepting and going in. And, you know, lots of people accuse it of him of having some sort of sex cult. And I think that's what was going on. I couldn't believe what I was watching. If you haven't seen it, it's available to rent now. I think it came out a couple of weeks ago, but it is staggering. It's really extraordinary. What an unlikable man. Okay, Jason Lives is my favorite. So glad they continued, said Daz. Count, sick at those guitar solos. And absolutely, says Paul, I guess you're going on about Alice Cooper, who I saw. It was his birthday the other day, and he was with Mick Fleetwood and somebody else. I can't remember who the other person was. And poor old Alice, or Vince, they caught him at a moment where he hadn't done his roots. This massive grey hair and then black hair. But he looks good. He's what is he, in his late 70s now or something? The Needle Drop guy has an interview with the director of the Corey Dop. Oh, God. Oh, I'd like to see that, Daz. I'd like to see that, because me and my wife watched it, and we just kept looking at each other with our mouths wide open. What a piece of shit. Corey and I got into a bit of back and forth on Instagram because I criticised his typing in all caps. Fucking hell, Daz, do you not like your wife? She suggested it. That's no word of a lie. She brought it to my attention and said, oh, there's this new Corey Feldman documentary I've been reading about. Apparently it's toe curling, and we put it on, and it was absolutely toe curling. All this Michael Jackson bullshit he's doing. Always the sign of a total whack job, the all caps thing. Yeah. Okay, let's go over to our final vote. And I think it's Vera from part 3. Vera Sanchez, part 3. For me, this is one of my favorite kills in the franchise. I know it's a bit of a goofy 3D effect, but it's the first time we see Jason in the hockey mask. It's the whole scene. The way Richard Brooker just kind of, slowly walks onto the jetty, fires the arrow, the spear into her face. She, we get that full 3D effect. She collapses into the water with Shelley's wallet. And then it's just like another day at the office for Jason. He just throws down that spear gun, turns his back on her, and nonchalantly walks up the jetty to kind of find his next victim. And for me, it's just like, wow, this is hockey mask Jason arriving. It's a great moment. And for me, it's top tier. I'm not sure whether it's my best. It's not the best kill, but in terms of a moment in the franchise, I think it's one of my favorite moments in the franchise. Let's see how it does. We've got 20 seconds left to vote. Vera Sanchez, Catherine Parks played Vera Sanchez, effects by Martin Becker. Harpoon gun to the eye. All right, harpoon, spear, whatever. Birth of the hockey mask as well. This kill matters because of what happens right after. Vera's death leads to Jason taking the hockey mask, and horror history changes forever. And Vera finishes... Oh, she finishes 4th. Vera done well. Vera done well. That's terrific. So the vote is over, folks. You guys have crowned Adrienne Thomas Hart from Jason X. Face frozen in liquid nitrogen by Jason, then smashed against the counter as your favorite kill in the Friday the 13th franchise. Congratulations. I think that's a good choice. It would be one that I would have picked, I think, to be in the top 3. I think it's one of the worst films in the franchise, but certainly one of the best kills in the franchise. It's well worthy of that top spot. And I'm pleased for it. I think it's earned, definitely. Okay. let's just run through. Let's run through and have a look and read them out in order. So we have in first place, I'm going to have to move over here slightly, folks, to see because it's small. In first place, we have Adrienne Thomas Hart from Jason X. Jason Voorhees from Part 4 is in second place. Third place, we have Mark Jarvis from Friday the 13th Part 2. And then Vera Sanchez is in fourth place from Friday the 13th Part 3. Fifth place, we have Jimmy Mortimer from the final chapter. Sixth place, we have Debbie Caldwell and that tent scene from Jason Goes to Hell. Jack Burrell from the original Friday the 13th is in 7th place. And Pamela Voorhees from Friday the 13th, the original, is in 8th place. 9th place, we have Amanda from the remake. And 10th place, Melissa Poore from Friday the 13th, The New Blood. 11th place, we've got Axel Burns from Final Chapter. Sheriff Garris is in 12th place. Andy Beltrami in 13th place. And then in 14th place, we've got Jeff and Sandra from Friday the 13th Part 2. Judy Williams from The New Blood, the sleeping bag kill, is 15th. 16th is Samantha Lee from Friday the 13th, the Final Chapter. Remember the dinghy kill. Trey Cooper from Freddy vs. Jason is in 17th place. Julius Gore, the boxing scene, is in 18th place from Jason Takes Manhattan. Alice Hardy with the ice pick to the head is in 19th place. And then your worst kill of the franchise, I think, is Rick Bombay. The eye popping scene. So there we go. That's it, folks. Oh, out of breath now after that. Let me just move over back here. We'll take some more of your chat. Yeah, Darren has just turned 78. Oh, he's just turned 78. Oh, wow. Okay. Alice Cooper you're talking about. I thought you said, yeah, Darren has just turned 78. Thanks. No. Alice Cooper just turned 78. Yeah, no, he looks good. He looks good. Gray Simmer says, love the casual way Jason dispatches her, but the 3D effect isn't good. It's fine. You can just see the wire that it's on. It's I guess, I guess in the cinema, I never saw it in the cinema, but I'm guessing in the cinema it looked pretty effective back then. Definitely top tier for me. Great kill, says Chester. You're on about Vera. Not a notable kill in itself, but the intro of Jet Hockey Mask Jason makes it an iconic moment. It is. It's certainly, for me, one of the most iconic moments in the whole franchise. Awesome 50 says Vera kill is absolutely brilliant. The best kill in the series for me. Seeing this in proper 3D is a real treat. Iconic kill, says Wraith. And damn, Jason is like John Wick in how he shoots. He is, you're right. Jason's stroll away after killing Vera is so comical. It's like he's wondering if his mail arrived yet and just wandering off to go and check. No, he's pondering who he's going to kill next. It's just like he could just go to bed and go to sleep after that and not bat an eyelid. It's that casual. That's what I love about it. I'm all for a VFX company cleaning up all the noticeable wires in the 3D makeup effects in this one. I'm not sure about that. I don't know. How do I feel about that? I kind of like it. It's a charm. I mean, like, if you're going to give us a clean version and the original version, brilliant. Not like what they've done with Star Wars, which is just like take them off as. Although I do believe they are coming out in the next 2 years, aren't they? The original Star Wars. Fun stream, Darren and everyone, says Daz. I'm surprised. I thought Mark had this locked up. Yeah, I thought Mark would have had it locked up, but no. Jason X has pipped him. Forgotten Horror Channel and Friday 13 series are some of the best kills in horror history. And Davey, we gave your episode a shout out earlier. Brandon put the link to your episode in the chat. I was telling everybody I watched it, well, the bulk of it earlier on. I've still got about 15 minutes left to watch, I think. But it's a great episode, and if you like Friday 13th chat, go and listen to these three guys reminiscing about when they first saw the movies. It's good fun. Chester says, amazing stream, Darren. This was a lot of fun. Thank you, Chester. 3.5 hours of sleep, then up for work. However, as always, guys, it's been a blast. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Andy. Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you, mate. Happy Friday the 13th right this minute to all UK horror hounds. It's just gone midnight. It's Friday the 13th here now in the UK, so this is kind of properly relevant now. Hello. By the way, do you support a football team? Not, you mean British football? Soccer? No, not. Well, I mean, I'm from a place called Bradford, so I guess I kind of keep an eye on that, but I'm not really a football fan. I watch England. There you go. England. I support England when they play. Count says, I'm all for remastering, but like you, I think the original and tinkered with version should always be available. There you go. There's a link to Davey's channel again. He's doing some great stuff on old VHS and the nasties, and he's got such a great VHS collection from the 80s. Horror VHS. Okay, so thank you folks for tuning in. I'm still deciding on next week's stream. I'm going to have a think about that over the weekend and maybe put something out on Sunday. I am taking a few days off. I've got some stuff on that I need to do over the next few days. I am going to hopefully get an episode out tomorrow night, Valentine's horror. So watch out for that. I'll post it in the socials and everything so you guys can take a look at it. But again, like last week, I wrote a few notes as to my thoughts on Friday the 13th. When you look at these kills tonight, either the sleeping bag smash or the arrow through the neck, or Mark Jarvis's wheelchair down the stairs, or the winner, the liquid nitrogen face smash. What stands out for me isn't just the gore. It's just how simple a lot of them are. The Friday the 13th films were never about prestige. They were more about atmosphere and shock, and that feeling that danger is just outside the cabin door all the time. Some of the movies aren't that great. Some of them are really messy. Some of them are brilliant, in terms of how we feel of them as fans. Some are ridiculous, like Jason X. But the kills, regardless of the movie that they're in, some of them have really stuck. And they weren't just kills in these films. They became stories amongst our friends at school and that. Do you remember? Did you see this? Do you remember that? It was great when you were at school watching these movies and sharing stories about them, or watching them with your friends. And 16 years after the last film, we're still arguing about which moments have hit the hardest. We're still quoting them. We're still showing these kills to new fans, like that face smash scene. And we still get goosebumps over them when Jason walks down that jetty. I do. I think every time I watch part 3, I get goosebumps. That's really that's legacy for me. It's not, these things aren't about critique. These are movies that are most, for the most part, really poorly reviewed. But it's the impact and the legacy that we all love. It's about a franchise that understood exactly what it was and delivered it again and again, and we loved it for that. And we still do. Everybody's looking forward to this new TV series, which is coming out, I think, around December. And as long as we're all still debating these movies, it feels like they'll just keep delivering for us, which I think is a really cool thing, keeping this alive. So I think Crystal Lake, along with Pamela and Jason, I think they're going to be around for a lot of years now, and that's really cool. There's another 2 Friday the 13th this year, and one next month, I believe, and then one later down, I can't remember what month it is, but one certainly later in the year. And it'd be good to think of some other things that we can do to celebrate this franchise, because we've still got a long time to wait until the Crystal Lake TV series comes along. So if you've got any ideas, folks, let us know, and we'll throw them around and see what we can do. Thanks for watching. I'm 99% sure I'll be back next Thursday. I haven't figured out, as I said, what we're going to do yet, but it'll be something fun. This has been a lot of fun. Last week was a lot of fun. Finally ironed out all those technical issues. And watch out for that video tomorrow night. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.